You guys, I am Big Ron Jones. This is the Practical Podcast, and of course, I'm with my friends. Amma Hooks, she's in place here. Denzel is not with us. Glad to have you sitting here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Myra Jackson, of course, you recognize MJ3.
What up?
1000.
Let's go.
And then we have my homeboy, George Banfo Jr.
Know what time it is.
Before we get into this podcast, I'm going to explain to you guys why. No, I'm not going to explain to you. I want MJ to explain to you why he's cheesing.
Okay.
Exciting news.
Yes, I got some exciting news, guys. The Blueprint 3 album. Album. Listen,
all right,
listen.
Okay,
And listen, just shout out to the name. Obviously, the name means something as far as hip hop is concerned. This act is extraordinary. Imagine Andre 3000 and Hove collab on an album. That's what this is.
Legendary.
This is what this is. But anyhow, we just got approval from Apple and Google Play that the app is now approved. So we will be launching very soon, probably within the next 48 hours. I appreciate you guys. So I'm a little bit celebrating a little bit. Amongst my friends, I appreciate y'all. It's been 12 months of hard work, and so I can bring you guys something extraordinary, everyday workouts that you don't really have to. Nothing extraordinary. We stick to the basics to get results. And I'm so blessed and thankful to share this moment with my friends.
Absolutely.
To Solid Brands for having us a chance to, of course, toast to our accomplishments. MJ3000 has the Blueprint 3000. Make sure you download that. Amma, we're glad to have you here.
Yeah.
You are a very special person. You wear multiple hats and responsibilities. You're definitely someone we should all look up to, a lot to be drawn from. Please tell us, or tell the people, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Amma A. Hooks. I am an HR and DEI consultant. So DEI standing for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Most people would be like, what does that stand for? I would say, like in the words of Lovey Ajayi Jones, I'm a professional troublemaker. So I go into organizations to make sure it's inclusive and equitable for all people so they can come to work and be their best selves.
Absolutely.
It's funny you said inclusive to all people.
Yeah.
The internet is not always inclusive or a very nice place.
No.
Not
If
at
you
all.
were to give some advice as an HR lead, what would you give people to return to their jobs?
Yeah, know that Big Brother is watching.
Big Brother.
So, like you can, with comments, if it's screenshot and sent to your employer, if it does not align with their, social media policy, you can get fired.
Wow.
And people don't realize that. It can fall under hate speech. And a lot of people think, freedom of speech, but there's not a freedom of repercussions. So, it can violate the policy. It can go against their core values and how you represent the organization, and you can get fired.
So those comments put out energy that might have a negative return.
Absolutely.
Costing you your job.
Right.
MJ knows something about negative energy returning. He has had lots of hateful comments
A lot of hateful
coming
comments.
your way.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
For random reasoning, we've always tried to hypothesize on why. We're not completely sure why, but we definitely do know they are there. Bro, how are you dealing with this hate coming your way?
Somebody hate on you.
MJ.
Listen, I thought that the first time all of this has happened. Obviously, anybody that's following me, my page has grown significantly probably over the last 90 days. I'm really, really blessed and thankful. I appreciate you guys. I'm not here without you guys, so I appreciate it. But with all of that positive energy comes a significant amount of hate and negativity. But I'm built for it. I can't really explain or understand why. For some reason, I piss men off a lot. But let me be clear.
Some men.
Let me be clear. I get majority of love. I see you guys outside. I saw a gentleman this morning when I was coming out of my home. He was just walking by. He's like, yo, he recognized me. So those things really, really humble me, but also lets me know that I'm doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
So I don't really put too much into the hate. Obviously, you guys all see I reply to everybody, whether it's positive or negative. And I can't really put too much energy in it. You keep commenting, keep the hate coming because we see it and it obviously motivates me, but we are not stopping, baby.
Oh, not at all.
We moving forward. Ain't none of this gonna stop us. But I can't worry about it. That comes along with anybody who's elevating to another level, but it also lets me know I'm headed in the right direction. Absolutely. So, keep the hate coming, baby. We're going to keep going. I mean, I'm always going to be transparent and open and honest about who I am as a man, just because I really want you guys to grow with me and evolve with me. I don't feel like I'm better than anyone at this table, more importantly, out there in the internet world. And I just want to be able to give you great workouts that are simplistic, but also have a lot of value. Blueprint 3000, sign up. Let's go.
I love it.
Okay, cool. So obviously the internet's a very opinionated place. A very, very opinionated place. There's a lot of opinions being volunteered from everyone's platform. Unsolicited oftentimes.
You know what I just thought about? Like sometimes when you live outside of someone's box, it can upset them. So instead of expanding that box, they just get angry at you because you don't fit into what they think you should fit into. Right? So I can understand why, because you give great energy, like Andre 3000 flute album energy, right? Like
I'm
high vibrations, right?
No, you're right.
Versus what someone might expect just looking at you.
Looking at and I will say this. I want to say a quick shout out to my man Ron. You knew what was going on. We had private conversations, and I'm not gonna lie. At first, it kind of bothered me. A lot of the hate kind of threw me off a little bit. I prayed about it. Said all my prayers, and we had a conversation, and you uplifted my spirits. So I appreciate you, dog.
For sure.
Just for being there. Just as another man to man. It's like, yo, you gave me words of encouragement to keep going. And me and you've had common, my man. I appreciate y'all. But I'm really blessed to have really great, loving people around me. And we always heading in a positive direction. So I appreciate it.
So the hate don't work, man. Y'all got hate. It don't work, man. We too positive.
Absolutely, guys. So as long as we stay focused on why we're here, I think we'll be okay. And you guys, I don't want anyone to think that his platform is a bully platform and he's being picked at 24/7. But when you're someone coming from our space, which is people who have lived life 30 plus years, MJ himself being over 40, you have a real connection to helping people. And we should not focus on those individual 1 or 2 comments. In a sea of 2,000 comments, though, literally, those 10 comments can stand out. And I think our biggest issue commonly as influencers is that we want to have everyone's love, right? Which makes those 10 black dots kind of stand out. Which is the genuineness of your heart, though. The fact that you still see and want to appease the masses. Let's just try to take another perspective, though. For someone who does feel that hate within their heart, Amma, how would you have them to better navigate
so
to get out of that hate that they feel within them? An exercise you would give to that hater at your job force.
So I think it might be overstated, but pausing and stepping away, right? So there's something called an amygdala hijack. Like when your amygdala literally takes over, it's like fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And so typically you see something that puts you in a stressful state, and now you're like, oh, I want to fight, I want to comment, I want to defend. And so I would say, like, get it out, right? Like type it out and then walk away. Breathe, see what your body is doing. What is your heart rate doing? That'll let you know if you're upset. Because how many of you all have interacted with someone and then you're like, yo, chill, you're kind of mad. And they're like, I'm not mad. And you're like, but you are. So then you pay attention to what your body's doing, your heart rate, your temperature. Step away. Come back to it.
Don't hit send.
Don't hit send. Does this represent who I say I am, right? And if it does not, do not send it. But then the second thing is you got to check your bias. Why am I so angry by this person I don't know? That takes self-reflection. A stranger.
Like, because I'm a stranger to a lot of those people.
Literally.
Like, to the point where what resonated with me, what you said was the whole progress of them writing it out. And I've really tried to analyze it. And shout out to Mike Rashid for this. It was one time I was listening to him speak, and he was trying to understand people specifically in the red pill community, right? He's like, I want to help them. But sometimes you got to reel that back in. It's like, it's not my job to help them, where I would see so much hate. And I would talk to them. I was like, well, the steps that it took to write all that out. I imagine you reread it. And then you still hit post. And then I'm like, at the end of it, it's like, did you not think any of that through? So I love the progression that you said. Take some time, step away, put the phone down. And I have to also adopt those same attributes.
and really think about, why am I being triggered right now? Like, not to get too deep, but I'm pretty sure seeing you or you online represents inferiority to somebody else.
Ooh, say that part again.
Say it again.
So seeing you and you online represents inferiority to someone else. And you're tapping into something that's unhealed in them. And so the best way is to respond, and it makes them feel better, because that's like a quick dopamine boost, because they're responding to someone they feel inferior to with no repercussions. Because they're hiding behind a screen.
You know you're not doing nothing but filling my war chest up of ways to come back out there. But go ahead, my brother.
It's crazy because I feel like all we trying to do is inspire and motivate.
Yeah.
So for somebody to feel inferior, it's like, why do you choose to feel that way when all we doing is just trying to inspire and motivate? Like, why do you choose to see it in a negative light?
Because you're living a dream, your dream. You had a dream, you executed that dream, and you're seeing fruit from that dream. Think about how many people have dreams and they don't have the courage to step forward and do anything.
So be inspired. Let my dream.
That's how I would be.
You would think so, right? But people with unhealed stuff.
Makes sense.
Wow, you dropping some gems. I never really thought about it from that perspective of the other user on the other side of the phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. I love the idea of so. And like George is saying, he's doing nothing more than trying to add value to life, to show you where it's at. And to be honest, I think this podcast, one of the strongest things about it is they're hearing the real us.
Yes.
You are used to seeing George running literally what I think might be 35 miles an hour.
I can agree with that.
On a speed track.
I'm gonna race you outside.
45.
I can agree with that.
You're wondering, how is this human doing this?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But when you have a chance to hear George's life is not perfect. You may see me, talking to someone else about how they can better deal with stress and seasonal depression, but you don't know what's happening in my life.
Exactly.
So the commonplace issue I think comes from in social network is we only present to you the highlights of our life. I do not show myself fresh out the bed, flat and ashy.
Unless some of them set up the camera to get ready with me today.
So when an influencer gets out of bed and says, "This is how my morning starts," it's not. There's a camera running.
Right. It's a camera running.
So what you're missing is that we are displaying our highlight reel. So please do not compare your everyday life to someone's highlight. I'm not going to show you I'm not going to show myself without a pump. If I'm not pumped up after that bicep workout, I'm not taking photos. So don't cross-compare yourself without that pump, greased up under perfect lighting, to someone else. That's a great way, I believe, to have a better real feel for where you are.
Absolutely. Can I add to that, though? Like, how long have you all been working out? How long? How many years?
At least 2 decades.
2 decades.
Probably 17 years.
17 years, so close to 2 decades.
5 years old, we all played sports, and we found weights as adults.
Right.
So there we go, right? So like they're seeing not only the highlight reels of your faithfulness of doing the same thing almost every day.
Oh.
Think about that.
So they're seeing the manifestation of 2 decades.
Correct.
And comparing their point
now to your 2 decades.
So is it our job to understand them or like to dissect them, or we just continue to do what we do?
I think you continue
Or do we
doing
need
what
to have a
you're
level
doing.
of understanding of who's on the opposite side of that phone?
I think compassion is important and having a level of understanding, but you keep doing what you're doing because, again, you don't want to change your message for 1,000 people when you
For
have
one person,
700,000, 1 million followers. Like, look at the percentage wise. They're not to sound wrong, but it's actually insignificant to the amount of impact you're making. But when you're responding with compassion, because you don't know what that other person's carrying on the other side.
Okay, you have given me so much insight. I have one question for you. Just one question.
Just camera counseling.
Just because she's like a counselor right now.
This is beautiful.
And I want to get in the mind of these, I don't want to call them weirdos or goofies. Now I'm going to just call these individuals. So you make such a bold negative comment, correct? Why is it when I respond, you don't like the way I respond, you say I'm triggered and now you're the victim? What is that? Like it's very odd, and obviously I'm coming from a very old school mentality. I live in my masculinity. You know, all these men here are very hyper masculine, so it's hard for me to understand that concept. It's very feminine when I see, bro, you came on my page, you said something negative, I responded, you didn't like what I said, now I'm triggered and you're the victim. Like, it's very odd to me.
Where does victim mindset come from?
What is that? Is that a new school thing? It's kind of like you smack the shit out of somebody. He pulls out his gun and shoots you, and now you're mad. Like
As
what
your
is
first
that?
was, which is your actions can still have repercussions.
They have repercussions.
So we're asking you, Great Oz, is there an answer you can give us about where victim mindset comes from?
I'm not the Great Oz. I can't give you a real answer, right? Because I'm sure there's brain science behind that. And I don't know the brain science. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, right? But I will say, like, for example, in the workspace, when you call someone out on their prejudiced behavior and then they turn it around, that's called gaslighting, right? So they're not ready or open to receive the feedback. And that's really what that's saying. Like, okay, they're not ready and they're still in that amygdala hijack phase. Like, their brain literally has not transferred to the prefrontal cortex where they're being logical. So it's like a brain thing going on that we don't quite understand, and it's not our job to be their therapist. Like, I feel like most people need therapy personally. And so they haven't done that work, and that's okay. It's not your job to try to get them to do that work. Your only job is to still be a light. Regardless of who you interact with.
Well said.
Well said. Well, not to shift gears here, and I'm stuttering because this is a scary question for me to ask. I'm going to ask the question.
You about to get us in trouble. I'm about to get us in trouble again. Bro, I'm just recovering.
Hold on, I think we all need to take
I'm just recovering. Okay,
shout out to
Ross.
Where is
appreciation? No, bring your cup over here. Bring your paper cup over here. You're acting like you're still in college.
Super shout out. We appreciate it. We appreciate it, guys. Absolutely.
I got you.
Now, the question I'm going to get into is this. From the woman's perspective, because us men will have an opinion as well. Perhaps we'll have 3 different opinions.
Perhaps.
A sum total of 4 different opinions. But I want to hear from yours because yours might be staunchly different. I don't know. Do you owe it to your spouse or your significant other to remain physically attractive to them?
I think you do.
You think you do owe it to them?
Yeah, I do. I think when you look
Go ahead,
good,
just justify this answer because the comments gonna get you.
I know they
Go ahead,
are, but when you look good,
it's all good. You about to get all this hate. Welcome to the club.
To my compassion. But when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, you exude a certain energy, and that energy is important to have great interactions with people. That is, if you're a leader in an organization, a mom, a wife, however you show up as a leader in your community, I think looking good. Now, who dictates what looking good is up to the individual. It's subjective. But yeah, I think that's so important.
George, tell me, do you owe it to your significant other or spouse to remain attractive to that individual? Never mind the world, but to that person
individual, yeah.
In a relationship?
Yes, I absolutely. Yes.
You do owe it to them.
You owe it to them because, let's just say if I get into a situation and you look in a certain way, I met you, everything is nice and tight. Now that you got me, don't let yourself go. You know what I'm saying? Give me the same thing that I was attracted to. You know what I'm saying? When you let yourself go, I feel like you're doing me a disservice. This is not what I signed up for. You know, so I definitely feel like it is your responsibility.
And to be fair, I believe you would give her the same response, which is you remain attractive.
Thank you for saying that part.
That's the I feel like that's the contract.
So you actually
we both got to look our best.
That's part of the contract, right? Part of the contract you believe is you owe it to her, and she owes it to you.
Absolutely.
Reciprocate.
Yes.
Awesome. Which means that she said a second ago, it is subjective also.
Yeah.
To chime in with my opinion, and of course I need yours, MJ.
Yeah, no problem.
But to chime in and going along with you guys, I really believe that it's subjective, which means contingent on that other person in a relationship with, which means if that woman has a child, not that she should not look like she's never had a child, but she should still have a presentation that is attractive to you. It does not mean she went back to a snapback weight. I hate the concept of snapback. You are a adult woman who has had a child. There is a look for you that is native to you. You should not be a woman of 2 children who looks like she's never had children. You can be, but it's not a prerequisite to looking attractive to your mate. And the same with the man. He could be stressed out, working 2 jobs. And he will actually look a little different as he gets older and matures. But as long as he is keeping efforts at remaining attractive to his spouse, the mutual contract that they both hold will definitely be true. But it's subjective to that spouse, though, right?
I think it's subjective to the spouse, and if you have kids, I think it's important for kids to see you taking care of yourself, because you're creating that framework for them.
Yeah, framework for them.
So whatever taking care of yourself looks like, whatever looking good for that person looks like, not losing yourself looks like, they need to see you pouring into yourself, so they know how to pour into themselves for future.
So I don't want to assume. I'm not going. Please.
So my question is, if your significant other has children, like, is there a timeline of, like, yo, I'm giving you 6 months?
No, don't do that.
Please stop. Now stop. You started with 6 months. Those are the expectations. Like, Jesus Christ.
Like,
very fair.
George.
Because I don't,
Very fair. Very
please
good
don't
question.
let yourself go. Like, I respect the fact that you have my children.
Very fair. Very good question. And I think that's why I intentionally reiterated the subjective part, which means my wife of 15 plus years does not look the same way she did when she was 19. I happen to personally like the more matured version of her, though. After she had a child, oh man.
Yeah, it is. Pick up that grown woman weight.
She added all that feminine fat to that great frame.
Right.
So she does space in the hips some. Her breasts are a little fuller. Of course, it's a different fall to everything, but she is more attractive to me as a mother now. She's added that bit to her. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm not saying that she will ever look like she did before, but truth be told, I am now 39. I am not going to be attracted to the 19-year-old her.
Right.
At least I shouldn't be.
Of course not.
Right?
Hopefully. God willing.
So as we age together where we're at, she might like the 39-year-old Ron. And she might say, man, I don't want 21-year-old Ron.
Right.
I like the 39-year-old Ron.
Without a doubt.
So wherever you're progressing to, I think is going to be, again, subjective on what your spouse is attracted to. Now, if your spouse is no longer attracted to you because you have changed, then is it truly the spouse you want to be with for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? MJ, please tell me, bro. I don't want to assume you're with us.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you owe it to your spouse to remain attractive to them
Yes.
as time goes forward?
I absolutely agree with everyone on the panel. I'll take it a step further. A way to avoid issues like that, I'll always say this. The way you meet your partner, and this isn't just all to just fitness, your fitness level. Physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually. How you met your partner is the expectations of what you should look forward going forward. As long as I think too many times us as individuals, men and women, we put these prerequisites. Oh, I see the potential. I'm expecting you to be here by this certain time. And a lot of times there falls a lot of disappointment. You know what I'm saying? And that's why sometimes women are like, man, she ain't got no motion on, or vice versa. Or the man, he ain't got no motion on. He ain't making more money. His body hasn't improved. Well, I think that's a little unfair. This is how you met this individual. And you have to understand this is the person that you chose to be with at this point. Too many times, specifically, especially women, and this isn't picking on them, they operate in that potential market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I see potential in this individual, and if he doesn't hit those markers, then it becomes a problem, physically, financially, but more importantly, financially, but physically too. I think if you as an individual can stay where you're at, I don't think there should be any issues or problems. How I met you at the Genesis is how you should accept your partner. Now, your situation is a little different because you met your wife at a very, very young age. So obviously there will be room to grow in evolution. But if you meet your partner at 30, 32, if this person doesn't get any better, you have to be okay with, this is my partner. This is what I've accepted. And unfortunately, I think too many times we have these abnormal just steps we want them to take, which sometimes can be problematic and unfair. Just my opinion.
Alma, please. I see you shifting in your seat.
Yeah.
Please.
Talk to me.
Because I was going to ask, what about the reverse, right? Like, so what about if you meet somebody where they are and then there is exponential growth? So then, like, now one person's outpacing the other.
Oh, that's a problem too.
What?
But
This is actually, though, I think I call him the young gun. Because he's significantly younger than
and he's not a young guy. We don't be, but this our little bro, right?
Oh,
man.
This our little bro.
So call me young, our little bro. But little bro, this is where you're at in life, I believe. Because you have a career that is moving fast. And I keep encouraging you as the big bro, you better find someone now, because the older you get, the more like a pause moment, snack you're going to look. So it's hard for you to find the proper person who's not going to be after you for the wrong reason. Right? With that being said, I lost myself for a second here. Expansion on almost.
Yeah. Question. How do you handle outpacing your partner?
How do I handle outpacing my partner?
Because your career is going to outpace most of America.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add to that. So for women as well, because oftentimes something transcendental happens after having kids, right? So you might outpace your partner spiritually or emotionally or mentally. So outpacing can look different for different people, but it's still outpacing. How do you handle that?
So coming up, like even in college, man, when I started to embark on this journey of self-development, I saw that the girls that I was with, I was just getting better than, you know what I'm saying? I was just improving. And I lost interest because just like, if we're not heading the same direction, you know what I'm saying? I just can't be with you, you know? So that always becomes the problem, because I'm like, if I'm outgrowing you, we can't be together. So I just have to have a partner that's willing to ride and is just willing to improve constantly.
You don't expect them to be at your same level, but you're expecting still some
there has to be yes, you have to be constantly
motion.
growing. You have to just put in the effort. I'm like, you don't have to be perfect, but I need to see you put in the effort to become the best version of yourself. That's what I'm trying.
Do you find that your energy alone radiates what's around you? Meaning, if you're around me, right? That saying, what is this? That saying they say, the people you're around increase your revenue or your net worth by 10%.
Your network. Yep.
And let me tell you this, I'm a testament of this. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. DJ, my dog, if you was here, I would shake your hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, look. I didn't realize that was actually a real thing.
Your network is your network.
Your network is your network. You know what I'm saying? But
and that translates into having a spouse, you're saying.
Yeah.
But I do want to say this much, and because what you said was very noble in how you're selecting a spouse or a helpmate or whatever you want to refer to it in 2023, 24.
Partner,
right? HR tells me partner. I'm going to try to say partner. I don't want to just say wife, right? Although he's looking for a wife.
I am looking for a wife.
Right. Yeah, say wife. You got to say wife.
First prerequisite is a wife.
Yes.
Wife. Partner.
Right? I was going to say natural, but I can't even say that one.
Are we going to get canceled for that?
Right?
You can cancel for anything.
God damn.
But what you ask for is not someone who's going to meet where you're at or where you're going to be, but someone who's challenging themselves and trying to progress.
Absolutely.
So while her income may be a third of yours, if she's trying to go forward, you're good with it.
Absolutely.
While her physical right now might not be as keen or as elite as yours, as long as she's trying to continually age with health,
Absolutely.
you're okay with that. So it's an awesome prerequisite, you guys.
Can I add let me add one more thing to that. Now that we finish up. Yeah. This is a perfect time for any couple's New Year's resolution. I encourage you, when you sign up with the Blueprint 3000, you bring your wife with you.
Oh,
I love it.
So good.
Your husband with you, because like George said, like Ron said, you don't want to necessarily outpace your mate. I want you guys to get in shape together. So one isn't looking at you like, well, who the hell you getting in shape for? You walking around here all fine as hell, like what's going on? That can be problematic within the framework of your relationship, and it can it breed jealousy. So do it together. I encourage you as a couple, because you don't want that one guy going to the gym and he didn't put on 10 pounds of muscle. He feeling them smell, going out buying new cologne and feeling good, or vice versa. She going out shopping because she done lost 10, 15 pounds in her waist and she looking good. I encourage you to do it together. And I think you'll find that the journey together is a beautiful thing.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah.
It's a domino effect. Like, you'll be surprised being consistent going to the gym, right?
Yeah.
And consistently seeing results, how that transcends to other parts of your life.
Without a doubt.
You set a goal, you implement, you execute, and you see results. That is the blueprint.
Yes.
For everything. So that's why it's important to do it, together.
Ron, this is a question for you though. So how do you, for all y'all, how do you handle a partner that's not willing to grow? I know it's easy to walk away, but sometimes you love people, you can't help who you love. Your heart gets entangled.
So I can't answer this firsthand because my partner has been growing like no other since we first got together in college. And even now, she still continues to grow. And I'd say hers is probably harder. So give some shout outs to Valencia because she's done this while birthing children. Two. So definitely, I can't speak from experience, but what I would say to someone who is experiencing a relationship whereby the spouse or helpmate isn't trying to progress themselves is to be real about, do you want to cut your ties or not? Simple as that. The dating phase is just that, as I see it. You're trying to fill this person out to see, can you do this for the rest of your life? Do they show potential to increase, not increase, but to get to the next level that you're trying to get to? Can you guys do this together? Sure. If they're not hitting that box now, cut your losses and keep looking. There's billions of people in the world now. Don't let the time length that you've been together making this mistake be what keeps you there.
Even if you got kids and everything, like,
well,
it's hard to walk away when there's kids involved.
So this is, I'm sorry, forgive me, preface this. That was not advice to a marriage.
Yeah.
That was advice to just general dating.
Okay.
In a marriage, you guys were clear-headed in your thought process when you decided to be with one another and make that contractual agreement to be with one another going forward, for better or for worse, sickness and health. So you guys can definitely traverse these hurdles, perhaps. But at the same time, we'll be real about this. Can you? If you can't, cut your loss. It also can be healthy for your children. Because your children watching you, as Amma said earlier, not having the positive energy can poison them. So before you stay in this relationship for the kids, you doing it for the kids can be ruining the kids. So the kids learning that, well, this wasn't going to work, but my mom and dad still made us priority, could be a good lesson for them versus them growing inside of a festering pool that is your home. And a festering pool just gets worse. It doesn't get better. You know what I'm saying? Now, for the dating world, cut your ties and keep moving on.
That's the
perfect
time.
Don't have kids with someone you don't want to be with, because you're hitching yourself to someone else's wagon. And if you decide you don't want to be with this person, too late. You're still hitched by way of a whole life.
Yes.
Guys, I'm glad we talked. Amma, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Appreciate you.
This has been
beautiful
great.
having you.
Thank you so much. But you were our counselor.
Thank you.
Great perspective. Amma Hooks, this is awesome. You guys, please check out her content. She's given so much value to everyone. You guys, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
Back to the
absolutely.
podcast.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.